Namaste. My name is Guianna and I will be your yoga instructor for today. Today's class is a more simple Hatha class for beginners. I've modified quite a bit of the poses and quite a bit of the sequence so that it can be accessible to anyone who's either new to yoga, new to Hatha yoga, or anyone who has any injuries and needs a modification of certain poses. If you have any injuries with your ankles, your hips, your knees, your shoulder, your low back, just be mindful throughout. If you need to drop out of any pose at any time and take a rest, do so into child's pose or balasana, which is child's pose in Sanskrit. Other than that, it's your practice. Listen to your body. Only do the moves that you feel comfortable with. We can go ahead and get started. Today's class is also going to be really good for improving your mood, improving your digestion. We're going to slowly build into these poses so that you can build strength, especially if you're new. It's meant to strengthen the back and the core, help with your balance and coordination, and also relax your mind. The props you'll be needing today, let me just first tell you that you can at any time roll the edge of your mat like so. If you don't have a cushion like this for your knees or your low back, so that's an option for you. If you do have a block like this on hand, that would be good to have a block. Not necessary all the way, but if you have a nice little knee mat like this one's an Apana Lux brand, you definitely need a yoga mat. And I would recommend a bolster or meditation pillow. I've got one like this, I've got two like this that can be on this flat setting, or you can double it like this to sit on. I've got another one just like that. The only difference is it's a little bit thicker. So you'll definitely have a few of those on hand. Or you can use a bolster. This comes in handy, really great for like reclining poses to support the low back, or you can sit on this as well. So let's get started. I'm gonna do a little chant for you, a little mantra. But first, let's all just inhale together. We're gonna exhale together as well into 3 ohms. So you can sit in Sukhasana or easy pose or cross-leg pose. This is when you'll want to sit on a block, preferably on the low setting, or if you absolutely need to, I would recommend this medium setting. I wouldn't recommend sitting on it this way, or this way. But this is my first recommendation, the lowest setting. Sit on your block, your bolster, your meditation pillow, or you can roll up a blanket or use some house pillows or roll the edge of your mat if your mat is faced this way towards the video. And you can sit in easy pose Sukhasana, or you can stretch your legs out in front of you with a soft bend in the knee, the toes flexed towards you, lengthened back, lengthened in the neck, relaxed shoulders. You can place the hands by your side on either side of the body, pressed into the floor, into the mat. That's Dandasana or staff pose. Choose whichever pose works for you. In Sukhasana, similarly, you want to have a nice lengthened back, relaxed in the shoulders, lengthened in the neck. You can rest the hands on the knees, palms down or palms face up in supine, or you can bring the hands to your heart center at your chest. Close the eyes as we inhale together. And exhale. Inhale for Om. tat savita varenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Dio yo na prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inhale. And exhale and slowly lower the head down to the palms. Start to slowly blink the eyes open. Can lift the head slowly up. All right, let's begin. So let's start with a nice warm-up. I've got a nice list of warm-ups. We're gonna start whichever position you're in, whether you are in easy pose, cross-leg pose, or legs extended out. In staff pose, you're going to take the wrists and you're going to twirl them. You can twirl them outward, or I guess technically they're twirling towards one another right now. Just twirl them. Make sure that you are still doing some nice slow breaths while you're twirling your wrists in whatever direction you've chosen, towards each other or away from each other. It doesn't matter because we're going to reverse the move in just a few moments here. Nice, slow, deep inhale. Nice, slow exhale to release. Now we're going to go ahead and switch and twirl your wrists in the opposite direction. Keep those inhales going, followed by a nice exhale. It's a good time now to think about your practice. Think about what you want to achieve. Not to necessarily be goal-oriented, but just think about how you're feeling in your body. Think about what brought you to your mat today. What kind of experience are you looking to have? Is there something that you're hoping to let go of? Is there something weighing you down? Think about letting those things go or that thing go. Okay, go ahead and lower the wrists, the hands, the palms to your knees. We're going to go ahead and do some shoulder rolls here. Just rotate the shoulders from front to back, continuing to breathe nice and deeply. Keep rolling the shoulders. You don't want to rush. Just a nice roll from front to back. Complete rotation in the shoulders, complete circle. Continuing nice, unhurried, gentle breaths. And now we're going to reverse. We're going to bring the shoulders from back to front, complete circles. Continuing those nice, deep, but also gentle breaths. Okay, so now I'm going to place the right hand on the side of you. You're going to inhale as you lift up your left hand parallel to your left ear, and you might pop in your arm like that. That's natural. That means you need to stretch. This is good for you. So inhale that arm up. Gently bend over to the right. Continue to breathe in this pose. You don't want to hinge too strongly to the right. We're still warming up the body. Just nice, gentle lateral bend here. Still be nice and lengthened in the back as you bend to the right. You don't want to crunch and be folded forward. You don't want to be like putting a bunch of pressure on your right wrist. It's a nice little stretch to the right. We're going to inhale back up. And exhale that left arm down. Now we're gonna repeat on the other side. Already have that left hand placed down. We're gonna inhale that right arm up. And then over gently to the left. Just continuing to breathe here. If you're having any shoulder pain, any issues, you can hold the arm out in front of you, or you can just place it on the left knee. Keep breathing. And we're gonna inhale the body back up and exhale that right arm down. So now this is our first pose out of our Dandasana staff pose, or out of our Sukhasana cross-legged easy pose. So actually, you can still use that. You can use your meditation pillow or your knee mat, or you can roll the edge of your mat. I'm just gonna roll the edge of my mat right now just to show you what it will look like if this is something that you need to do because you don't have a meditation pillow or a knee mat. You can roll your mat, place your knees on it, and then you can use like a bolster, or you can use a meditation pillow or a house pillow. We're going to go into a nice revolved thunderbolt twist here. A little revolved Vajrasana here. So what you'll do is, this is what you're going to have your knees placed here on this nice rolled front mat. You can use a house pillow or some kind of house cushion, or rolled up blanket even for the back of your thighs. You're going to be resting on your heels so that there's not too much strain or pressure. And you'll want to sit with a nice lengthened back, nice lengthened neck, relaxed in the shoulders. Tailbone is neutral. You can rest the hands here on the thighs to start, and we're just going to do a nice twist from the ribs. So I'll do my twist towards you first here. We'll start with the left arm. Inhale that left arm up. Just going to gently twist to the right from the ribs. This is where you can place your hand on the floor or on a block would be good. And you're just going to breathe here for a few breaths here. Okay, we're gonna inhale that left arm up and back down on the left side. Now we're back at the center. We're gonna inhale that right arm up and just twist from the ribs gently to the left with that right hand on that left thigh, or leaning more towards the outside of that left knee. This is where you'll place your your left hand down on the floor, the fingertips on the floor, or you can press on your block, or I even have a bolster conveniently here on the other side. I'm just going to hold it here for a few breaths. Okay, we're going to inhale that right arm back up. Place it on the right side. We're back at the center. Now you can lean your body gently forward. Tap out those feet on your mat. Give them a nice tap. Just feeling a little bit of pressure from that pose, from that thunderbolt pose. You want to tap out the feet. Get them back to neutral. If your mat was rolled, you can unroll your mat now. And we're just going to come into Dandasana for a moment to stretch out those feet. You can sit on your mat, or you can use a bolster, block, or meditation pillow. Always to have a soft bend in the knees, nice lengthened back, relaxed shoulders, lengthened neck. You can place your hands on either side of your hips. The toes are going to be starting flexing towards your face, and you're just going to roll the feet out, roll the ankles out, pick one direction or the other. I'm rolling my feet outward from each other first to start. Make sure you're still doing some nice, deep, gentle breaths in this pose. You might hear my ankle popping. Hopefully you're popping over there as well. It means you're working out the kinks. All right, let's reverse. Reverse whatever direction you have taken. I'm gonna be rolling my ankles in towards each other, the feet towards each other this time. Can you hear the birds? I can hear the birds. A beautiful bird song cacophony happening outside of my home. The birds are working. They're in solidarity with us right now. All right, so now that we've worked out the ankles, given them a little bit of a stretch from our thunderbolt pose here, from our revolved thunderbolt pose, we're just going to, you can stay in this position, but I'm just gonna face towards you here. We're just going to do a little neck stretch. So go ahead and bring the chin to the chest. We're just going to gently lean your head to one ear or the other. Mine is gonna be the right side. You're just gonna gently bring the head around. From the right ear to the left ear, or the left ear to the right ear, whichever direction you've chosen to roll your neck in. Continue to breathe in this pose. If you find any spots that are kinking up on you, just stay there, kind of rock the head in that spot. Just keep going in that one direction as we breathe. And then we're going to reverse and go in the opposite direction. You don't want to rush this. You want to be gentle with your neck. Gentle with your equilibrium here as you're sitting. You don't want to make yourself lightheaded. You don't want to put any unnecessary strain on the neck. Awesome. Cool. So we're warmed up in the body. It's time to get into our building strength section here. So we're going to come to our knees, come to all fours here into tabletop or Brahmanasana. This is when it would be good for you to, you can roll up your mat again, use your knee pillow or your meditation cushion. The meditation cushion will have to be flat. So whatever it is that you're using to assist you, if you need a little knee help here, a little knee cushion, you want it to be a mostly flat surface. You don't want it to be too high up. So you're here in tabletop where your knees are in line with your hips. They're not splayed out too far. They're not too closely together. Nice little space in between them, right in line with the hips here. Same thing, you've got your shoulders right over your wrists, and your wrists are shoulder width apart as well. They're not too far in, they're not too far out, they're not too far forward, they're not too far in. You look just like a table, is the goal of this pose, right? So you're here in tabletop, and now we're actually going to go into a little cat-cow or Marjaryasana. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale as you tilt the pelvis up and dip the back. You don't want to crunch too much as you look out. Inhale. And then you're going to reverse that by exhaling, tucking the pelvis, tucking the chest, tucking the abdomen, tucking the chin into the chest. Still strong through the shoulders, through the wrists, strong through the legs. You're pressing your toes or your top feet into the mat. And you just reverse. Inhale to dip into that cow. Exhale to tuck into the cat. Just repeat this a few times. Inhale. Okay. So now we're actually going to go into a modified sun salutation or a modified Surya Namaskar. And what you want to do is we're first going to come to we're going to come to standing here. You can only see part of me, but I'm still here. You are going to come to standing. Your feet are going to be hips width apart, like this, like so. And you want to have a soft bend in your knee. You want to be lengthened in your back. Roll back the shoulders. You can open the palms like so. Gaze out gently in front of you. Neutral pelvis. Strong in the body though. You want to feel really rooted, really grounded in this stance. And then we're going to inhale the arms out overhead here. And exhale into a nice half fold. Half forward fold or Ardha Uttanasana. You want to be nice and lengthened, flatten your back in this position. If you can go all the way down and touch your toes into full Uttanasana, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to do Ardha Uttanasana right now, just halfway, half forward fold. And then you want to inhale the arms back up, overhead, do a little teeny tiny back bend, just teeny tiny, and then exhale forward into half or full forward fold, Uttanasana or Ardha Uttanasana. We're going to inhale again up. A little back bend, exhale into full or half, or you can go a little bit lower, use a block on any setting that you prefer. You can hold it there. Gently drop the head forward. If you're having if you have any high blood pressure or any dizziness or anything like that, you want to keep the head, just gaze slightly out. You don't want to have the blood rushing here. You don't want to make yourself dizzy or lightheaded or anything. So just be mindful of where you're at. And now we're going to go into our modified Surya Namaskar or sun salutation. We're going to inhale up once more. Tiny back bend, exhale forward. We're going to step back the right leg, bent knee. You've got the left knee right over the left ankle. You're here. You want to inhale up, lift the chest. Exhale your left knee back. So now you're here in tabletop with your knees supported by some kind of cushion, right? Move this back for you. You're here after you've exhaled. Move your hand out in front of you a little bit. We're going to rock forward into a modified four-limb staff pose or a modified plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, but a modified version. You're going to gently inhale, exhale, yourself to the floor. You're going to press your toes into the mat. You're going to lift the knees. Just a tiny, tiny baby cobra here, baby Bhujangasana, little half cobra here. Exhale yourself back up. Inhale that, inhale that left leg back up with the left knee over the left ankle. Tuck the right toes, rock yourself forward. Inhale and exhale to your forward fold. We're going to inhale the arms up, tiny back bend, exhale forward. This time you're going to step the left foot back. Make sure that right knee is over that right ankle. Inhale and exhale the right knee back. You're in that tabletop briefly. Adjust those wrists forward. Rock forward into your modified plank. Inhale, exhale the body down. Lengthen the legs. Lift the knees. Press the toes into the mat. And lift the body up. The hands should be right by the rib cage when you lift yourself up. Exhale the body back. Inhale that right foot forward again, tuck the left toes. rock forward into a full or half Uttanasana. You can drop the head. Inhale up, tiny back bend, exhale forward. We're gonna repeat that, starting with lifting or pressing the right knee back. Lift the chest, inhale, exhale, the left knee back. Inhale into your half Chaturanga Dandasana, half plank. Exhale the body down. Inhale up, baby cobra. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale forward. Inhale. Up. Tiny back bend. Exhale forward. Exhale the left knee back. Inhale the chest up. Exhale the right knee back. Inhale into your half plank. Exhale. Inhale into your baby cobra. Exhale back to your tabletop for just a second. Inhale, head left, leg forward, tuck the right toes, up forward. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just rest here for a moment in Tadasana. Slow inhale, slow exhale. Catch your breath if you need to. This is a good time also just to reach down and grab some water. Keep breathing. Even though you're resting in this Tadasana pose for a moment, mountain pose, you still want to be grounded in the feet, hips width apart. Soft bend in the knees, strong in the thighs, neutral spine and pelvis, relaxed in the shoulders, lengthen neck. You can be gazing out gently in front of you, or you can close the eyes. Hands are open, facing the front of the room or facing whatever direction you are facing. Okay. So now we're going to go into a few standing poses here. So the first one that we're going to do is we're going to go into a warrior one. We're going to go into warrior one to start, and then we're going to go into an extended side angle or Parsvakonasana. So you can move all of your props out of the way for now. The only prop I would add that you might need is if you're feeling like any dizziness or discomfort during standing asanas or poses, I would recommend getting like a chair or a stool just so you can hold that instead or be against the wall. But other than that, I would say that's really the only thing you need. Actually, or in addition to that, if you want to go deeper in the second pose in Parsvakonasana, you can, or extended side angle, you can use a block, and you don't have to touch the hand all the way to the floor if that's not in your practice just yet. But we're going to start with a warrior one. So from Tadasana, you're in Tadasana, right? You're going to first step the left foot back. Actually, I'll show you this way first. Step the right foot back so you can see how it looks. You got a nice bend in that left knee, that front leg, that front knee. The left knee is over the left ankle. The left toes are facing forward. Nice and neutral in the pelvis. Your back foot or your right foot is angled out 45 degrees, a little soft bend in that ankle as well. You want to square the hips or have them face towards the front of your room or the front of where you're facing. And this is where you can grab a wall, place your hands on a chair or a stool. If you are having issues with shoulders, you can put your hands on your hips. You can bring them to prayer. You can even angle them out slightly lower, but this is the full posture. In Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1, we're going to stay here for a few breaths, so just inhale and exhale. Now continue to breathe nice and slowly at your own pace. Make sure your shoulders, if they're raised all the way up or even part of the way, you want to make sure that they're nice and relaxed, not crunching up by the ears. Make sure you lower them. Strong in the core. Just last breath. Bring the arms down, exhale the arms down. You can leave that front leg, that left leg still bent with that knee directly over the ankle. You want to, if you're tight in the hamstrings or you're not as flexible in the hips, you can leave that right foot, that back foot at a 45-degree angle. If it's in your practice to make your back leg, your back foot parallel to the edge of your mat or the edge of your room, you can go ahead and do that. Still a soft bend in that right leg, that back leg. And this is going to be extended side angle or Parsvakonasana. So what you're going to do is you're here, you've got the same legs or similar legs to Warrior 1. And what you're going to do is you're going to extend your arms out to the side. This would be a Warrior 2, but instead of staying in Warrior 2, we're just going to hinge forward at the waist and also leading from the ribs, leading from the left ribs to the left, right? Leading forward, tilting until we can rest that left forearm on the left thigh. You want to make sure you're not collapsing and putting all your weight on your left thigh, right? You're just placing it there very gently. You don't even need to your thigh as a prop to help you. Your strength and your substance of the pose is coming from your core. So you want to just rest it there gently. You can bring the arm straight up overhead. You can bring it forward like this, or if you're having shoulder issues, feel free to rest that right hand, that top hand on the outside of your right thigh, or you can just bring it behind your low back here. You want to open up the shoulders, open up the heart in this pose. Stay here for a few breaths at your own pace. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Okay, go ahead and lift up gently. Bring the arms back out. You can turn, pivot on that back foot. This would be like a high crescent. Go ahead and step forward. Bring that right foot to meet the left. Feet are still hips width apart. You can give your knees a nice little shake. Shake out the hips. If you're feeling any burning sensation from doing that work just now. Yes. So let's come to our mat just to reset for just a moment. So we're just gonna inhale here from our Tadasana pose. Exhale forward into half or full Uttanasana, full forward fold, or half forward fold. Come down for a moment into a brief tabletop. Make sure you've got your knee cushions in place if you need it. Rock forward into that half plank on an inhale, exhale down. Extend up for that baby cobra, baby bhujangasana, pressing the feet, lifting the knees. Exhale back up. Press yourself back briefly into a child's pose or a balasana. You can also, feel free, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the pose you want to sink into. If at any point the sequence or the pose that we're doing is too much, or you just need a rest, or you feel like resting, You're totally free to do that. You can sit back like this, but if that's too much on the knees, having the knees close together, feel free to make sure that you're touching your big toes. Press out the knees as wide as the edge of your mat. Gently press yourself back. You can use a mat or a cushion for your knee protection, of course. If it's too much of a strain on your shoulders, to extend the arms all the way out like this. You can bring the arms to a nice like forearm fold placement here, forearm stand placement. And you can use rest right here, or you can bring mat. You can roll your mat, you can use a meditation pillow, you can use a block, you can use a bolster, just to rest the forehead down if you're having issues bringing your forehead all the way down to the mat. And just stay here for a moment before we do the other side. Okay, so we're gonna do our 2 standing asanas on the other side now. So I showed you first on this side, right? So now we're gonna go over here. So now you've got your right foot forward with the right knee over the right ankle, right toes facing forward. You've got that left foot angled out 45 degrees with a soft bend in the knee. Starting with the hips squared to the front of where your right toes are facing this way, right? And you want to make sure that you're nice and lengthened in the spine, nice neutral pelvis. Hips are as squared as possible to this direction. And again, you can use the wall, you can use a chair, you can bring your hands to your hips. If you have shoulder issues or you have any discomfort with raising the arms, you can bring the hands to prayer at heart center. You can even angle the arms slightly lower or straight out in front of you. Or you can go into this full posture and inhale, exhale at your own pace. Nice and slow, nice and deep, nice and mindfully. Inhale and exhale those arms down. Just like the other side, we're going to keep that right leg the same with that right knee over that right ankle. You can leave also your left foot angled out 45 degrees if it's not in your practice, to make it parallel to the back edge of your mat or the front edge at this point, whichever direction you're facing. Do whichever one works for you. But I've got my back foot, my left foot parallel to the edge of my mat or the edge of the room. My hips are facing more this way now, more to the side where they were facing this way before. They're facing more towards you now, right? So your hips should be facing towards me. And you want to bring the arms out as if we were going to go into Warrior 2. Inhale the arms out, right? And now we're going to hinge from the hips, leading with the right ribs to the right side, right? And then we're going to lean forward, resting that right forearm on that right thigh. Again, we're not collapsing in that right thigh. We're just gently resting, light as a feather. You can raise that left arm straight up, perpendicular to the floor. You can bring it overhead this way. If you're having shoulder issues, you can bring the hand to the hip, the left thigh, or the lower back. You want to, whichever pose you choose, you want to just lean that left shoulder back, open the heart, and breathe here for a few breaths at your own pace. Gently lift the body up. Hinge back up from the waist. Bring the arms out. Inhale. You can turn, pivot that back leg, that left foot. Come into like a high lunge. Bring that left foot up to meet the right. You can wiggle out the knees, and simultaneously or even involuntarily your hips will wiggle if you wiggle your knees. Just shimmy out this lower body. Ooh. Okay. So now we're going to come back down here to the mat once again. We're going to come down and do a little cat-cow action for you here. So we're first starting in tabletop, right? Starting in tabletop, Brahmanasana, and then we're going to go into a cat-cow, Marjaryasana. So just like before, make sure you're hitting all your marks here, things are in line. Make sure your wrists are in line with your shoulders, and your wrists are not too far in, too far out, too far up, too far back, right in line. Similarly, you want to make sure your knees are in line with your hips, not too close in, not too far out, directly under your hips, and not too far out wide, not too close together. Complete and total rectangle as a table here. And then we're going to inhale, tilt everything up as the stomach dips. Try not to crunch too much neck, and then we're going to exhale, tuck everything in. Gently tuck the chin to the chest. Make sure the feet are pressing into the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. So these are the next poses that we're going to go into. We're going to do a little warming up for a balancing tabletop or Dandiyamana Brahmanasana. And then we're going to go into a little modified one-arm balancing, Vasisthasana. We'll get into that in just a moment, but we'll start, since we're already here, in our nice tabletop cat-cowing position here. So the idea is that you're going to be in tabletop, and to start, you can just extend out the right leg, the right foot, pressing the right toes behind you into the mat like this. And then you would extend your left arm out, left hand out, and just bring it in. Inhale it out, and exhale it in. Inhale it out, exhale it in. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We're going to switch sides. That left foot, left leg is going to extend behind you, left toe is pressing into the mat, right arm extended out in front of you, right hand touching the mat out in front of you. Okay, so we're going to inhale it up, exhale it back in. Inhale it out, exhale it back in. Make sure the integrity of your spine is in place when you're doing this. Nice neutral spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you have shoulder issues or balancing issues or anything like that, I would recommend, as we go to the next tier of this move, that you keep doing this. Just keep your foot and your hand on the floor. Don't change a thing. If you start to get uncomfortable with that, you can either just stay here in a solid tabletop, or you can do a little cat-cow during this portion of the posture. But definitely don't compromise where you are at in your practice just to move ahead. So if you are comfortable with balancing, you don't have wrist issues or shoulder issues, being on your shoulder even for a moment, or wrist for a moment is not going to cause you any pain or anything, discomfort, then you can move to the next level of this move, which is, I'll start on the right side. You're going to be extending out the right leg. The right foot is flexed, toes are towards the ground. You can even kind of lean or twist those right toes a little bit towards your body, just to make sure that your hip is not up or your leg is not faced out this way. You really want to be a nice straight line here, nice neutral pelvis, neutral spine, everything aligned, and then you're going to have that left arm extended. So we're going to start by inhaling it out and exhaling, bringing everything in. A nice little elevated crunch here. Inhale, exhale towards the body, and inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. I'm going to press down, rotating shoulders out a little bit here. Yes. Ooh, did you hear that pop? I'm proud of all of my joints popping and snapping. That means I'm working out some stuff that needs to be worked out. So don't judge yourself if that happens. Just twisting out the wrists a little bit here as we get ready to do the other side. So this side, just like the other side, we're going to extend that left leg back. Make sure the hip is not raised. Make sure the leg is not outturned. You want to make sure the toes are facing towards the ground. The hips are level. Even twist those toes a little bit towards the right, towards the body, to make sure that everything stays nice and straight and aligned. You're going to inhale that right arm, right arm up. Make sure that you're not crunching in the shoulder. We're going to just inhale up and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale. Bring those back down. Stretch out the shoulders. Now we're just going to go in a little body rotation here, so you can just kind of dip the hips low. If you're having some knee pain or issues there, spread out the knees a little bit towards the edges of the mat. Do this nice and slow. We're going to go both directions, so just pick one. I've chosen to go to the right. Make sure you continue to breathe in this pose. Nice and slow and intentional. Don't don't rush or hyperventilate your breathing in this pose. If your breathing is naturally in a hyper state right now, then you need to just drop into child's pose and rest. Get some water, breathe it out, rest your head on a block in child's pose, balasana. Don't force your body to do what it's not ready to do. Listen to it. Listen to the cues it's giving you. Go ahead and reverse your direction, whichever direction is the opposite of what you were doing before. Continuing that nice, easy going breath, right? before we move on to the next move, this is where you can get some more water if you need to. A little sip, a little refresh. So now we're going to go into a one-arm balance or Vasisthasana. It actually ends up being very close to like a half moon pose, Ardha Uttanasana, but it is a one-arm balance as well to the ground. So it's like a half moon pose. It's like Ardha Chandrasana. So you can start in this tabletop position, right? And just watch me first. So basically what happens is I'll start by turning my left leg back like this. Making sure my hip is in line with my knee, my left hip is in line with my left knee. My left wrist is in line with my left shoulder. Got my right leg extended out with my right foot parallel to the edge of my mat, going this way. This is where I can press my right hand behind my low right hip. Kind of press open my right shoulder. Can press or just rest my right hand on my outer right thigh, or I can extend, making that right shoulder, that right wrist in line with the left shoulder and left wrist. Choose whichever option works for you. I think I'm gonna rock with this low back option with the shoulders slightly opened to open the chest, and just breathe here for a few breaths. Now, a next level of this pose is if you want to just point those toes towards the video. Keep that foot nice and flexed. Lift that right leg up. You can hold it there, or you can keep it here on the ground. Do this at your own pace. You can test it out. If it's too much, just go back to this nice floor position. Now we're going to just meet that right arm to the left. You can press back onto your heels. Rest on your heels for a moment in a thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana. Just twirl out the wrists a little bit here. Roll out the shoulders one by one, front to back, back to front, going through the body. Okay. So now we're gonna do it on the other side. So I'm gonna face this way now. So you're in your tabletop, right? You're in your tabletop. Okay. So those of you who don't know, I'm a singer as well. My main job is as a full-time musician, so little songs and things are gonna be just making their way out whether I want them to or not, so you're welcome. All right, so you're in tabletop. Go ahead and do a similar thing. Just move that right foot, just pivot it out to the back of your room. Here, you want to extend out that left leg with the left foot parallel to the edge of your mat that it's closest to. You want the hips to be aligned. You want that right hip to be right over that right knee. You can press that right wrist, make sure it's, oh dear, well that just happened. Make sure that that right wrist is in line with that right shoulder. Also, this would be great as well if you need a little assist. I didn't mention for the other side, but you can always add in blocks or folded meditation pillows or anything, like a bolster even. But a block is a little bit more sturdy because it's rectangular and solid in a different way, so you can use that for your assist if you need. And then you can lift that left arm above left wrist, left shoulder in line with the right shoulder, right wrist. Or you can rest that left hand on your top thigh, bring it to your low back. Just make sure you just gently lean back that left shoulder, open up the heart, and breathe here. Now remember, you can stay here, or you can go to the next level of this pose only if you're ready. Keep those left toes flexed and towards the video, lift them up, make sure that that leg is in line with the hip or as high as you can comfortably get it. Make sure the heart's still open. You don't struggle with the integrity of the pose. This is where it would be good to add in that block if you need to. But if that's too much, just stay right here. And then when you're done, come back to tabletop. That was our little Ardha Uttanasana, Vasisthasana. Now, I think we're gonna come to a little low back action here. So this is where you can use your meditation pillow here, right? Or you can use a bolster for your low back or a pillow. You can roll your mat. Do whatever is comfortable for you. If you're using a bolster or something that's has a little bit more length, like a meditation pillow or something like that, you want to make sure that it's actually going the length of your spine. You don't want it to be wide, you want it to go the length of your spine. So I'm laying down this way, so that's where my bolster shall go. This way, right down the middle of my spine. You can have the legs out straight in front of you, as in like a shavasana, or you can actually bend at the knees if you want. And bend on here, nice, lean back nice and gently. Rest your hands on your thighs, rest the hands beside you. You can have them resting on the abdomen, wherever is comfortable for you. Or I'm gonna personally do a reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. So that means you're just going to bring the soles of the feet to touch, which will spill open the knees out to either sides. And you can have your feet as close to you as you want, as is comfortable for you, without any strain or pressure or discomfort, right? And then you'll snuggle your back assist of choice right up to the tailbone here and just gently recline. Just rest here. Just breathe. You can leave the eyes open or closed. You can rest the hands on the thighs. You can just rest the hands on the floor. That's a nice, comfortable feeling. You can rest the hands on the ribs, just wherever is comfortable for you. You don't want to be extended in the neck. You want to be nice and neutral here. You don't want to be crunching. Nice, slow breathing here. Nice and intentional with the breathing. As we hear that plane going overhead outside. Yes. Okay. We've got just a few more poses here for you, so you were in that Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly bound angle. Like myself, you can go ahead and bring those feet to the floor, bring the knees up to touch. You can gently roll to one side or the other. Remove that meditation pillow or bolster if you were using either. You will need either the meditation pillow in a different position. So if it was long, it's now going to be facing wide because you're going to use it underneath your tailbone for a supported bridge or Setu Bandhasana. So you can use that, or you can use a block. I would recommend if you use a block, use the low setting like this. You can use the medium setting, but I think the low setting is the most comfortable, especially if you're new or if you have low back issues or anything like that. You want to be nice and supported. You don't want to put too much strain. Definitely don't use the high setting. That's way too much. unless you have a deep arch in your back and you're practicing for something more intense, like a full wheel pose, chakrasana, or something like that. So I'm here, sat up out of my Supta Baddha Konasana, and I'm actually just going to, before I use the block, I'm just going to recline myself gently down. You can lean back on your elbows, your forearms for a brief moment. Bring yourself slowly down to the ground. So you're nice and pressed up against the mat. Your tailbone, your shoulder blades, your whole back is just completely pressed to the mat. Nice and fastened. Your neck is not crunched. You're nice and relaxed. This is when you'll take your block. Gently just press up, lift the hips up enough to slide the block gently under your tailbone. There's a nice little sweet spot. You'll feel it because it'll feel like just pressure will just be removed. You'll feel a nice sweet cushion that's just been added. If you don't feel that and it feels uncomfortable, just keep kind of shifting it around, just really gently lifting your hips up, making sure that you've landed in the right spot. You know, it'll feel like relief. If it doesn't feel like relief, you didn't find the right spot. So just kind of wiggle around gently and mindfully. Similarly, still you want to make sure you're not crunched in the neck or crunched in the shoulders. You can rest here in this supported bridge or a supported Setu Bandhasana. Just breathe here for a few breaths. This is when you can also lift up one leg at a time. I've lifted the right leg first. Just twirl the ankle to the right to start. You can rest the hands on the low abdomen or press the palms or the fingertips into the mat on either side of you. And you can reverse that direction as well. Continuing to breathe here. Bring that right foot down to the floor with the knees still bent. You can switch sides. Go ahead and lift up. Inhale that left leg up. And just twirl that ankle to the left to start. Continuing your nice, slow, intentional breaths here. Go ahead and reverse that direction. Yes. You can bring that left foot down to the floor. So this is what you can do if you're in a supported bridge. You can even lift both legs up. Just kind of hold them, hang out for a little while. Doing some bicycles really gently. Do some forward. Do some reverse. Keep your balance by keeping the hands and the fingertips on the floor beside you. You can just rest in a static pose with a soft bend in the knees. Or you can just rest here. If it's in your practice, you can remove that block. Make sure the knees are in line with the hips. The ankles are in line with the knees. Press the hands into the mat. Gently lift from the hips up. You'll stay here. It's in your practice. You can lift one leg up, hold, or stretch out that ankle. Switch sides. Just as we did the supported version, you can do this without the block or bolster or low back support. Just giving you some options. Either way, once you've chosen one or the other, just gently roll down. Gently rolling out the spine. We're going to bring in the knees to the chest here. Hands just below the knees. Or you can put them lower down on the shins and just rock yourself side to side. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to finish with a reclined twist. Jata Parivartanasana. So what you're going to do, this is where it'd be good to have a bolster or a block handy dandy. I recommend either the low setting or the medium setting. You can really use whatever setting you want, but you know, not often do I recommend in recline poses to use this setting. This setting to me is more if you're doing standing asanas. This is, you know, it basically gets you as close to the floor as possible, where in standing asanas, using the medium setting or the low setting will actually be more of a challenge if you're standing up or doing some kind of pose leaning to the side. But when you're laying down, you have more room actually on the medium and the low settings. But it just depends. If you can fit your knees on here, go for it. But I'm recommending this low setting here, so low setting or medium setting. So I'm actually going to use the medium setting for myself. So you're here. I'm going to start by turning away from you here. So I'm going to actually, although I'm doing a twist with my knees going to the left, I'm going to slide my hips to the right. Reason being, I want my hips to be in line with my spine. I don't want them to be too far over to the left or to the right. I want them to be right in line so that I'm not putting any extra strain on my back or my low back. I've got this block right underneath my left knee, which is the knee on the bottom, to hold it up so I'm not putting more strain there. Going to bring the arms out to a nice wide T. I'm going to gaze at you. Look over here at the video. Tra-la-la-la-la. Just do a nice inhale here. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Go ahead and bring the arms in. Bring the knees gently up to center as you shift the hips to the center. You're here. You're neutral once again. It's where you will have a block ideally on both sides, or just, you know, move it over from the left side to the right side. Now I'm going to shift my hips to the left, although my knees are going to the right. Want my hips to be in line with my spine, stacking the knees, making sure that my right knee lands on the top of my block, medium setting, arms out to a T, and this time I'm going to look away from you for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring those arms in. Lift the knees, gently shift the hips back to the center. This is when we're going to go into a nice corpse pose, Shavasana. Move your blocks out of the way or anything obstructing you. You can use a meditation pillow for your low back if you're having some low back pain. You can roll the mat. You can even recline on a bolster. I'm just going to extend the legs out here. The feet are as wide as the edges of my mat. Pelvis is neutral. It's not tucked forward or tucked back. No extra space, unnecessary space in the low back, causing strain. Relaxed in the body all over. The feet are spilling out to the outsides. You can rest the hands on the low abdomen. You can rest them with the palms facing up in supine. Make sure you're not crunching in the neck, relaxing the shoulders. The back is completely flat against the mat. You can gaze up at the ceiling, but I recommend the magic of closing your eyes in this pose as you just breathe sweetly and deeply and gently. Remember the beginning of the class. What did you want to let go of? What did you want to gain? Notice if your feelings have shifted. Notice if you feel lighter, brighter, more connected, and in tune with yourself, with your heart. Notice how you showed up for yourself today. Whether it's your first time or first few times coming to the mat, whether you're returning to the mat after a long hiatus, or whether you are a seasoned practitioner. Thank yourself for showing up. I hope that you will let your practice be what it was today and embrace it and be grateful for it without judgment, without comparison to another. Just appreciate that you honored your body and that you decided to commit to yourself through this practice. You can stay in this pose for as long as you would like, and I hope you do. Another 5 minutes, another 10, another 20. Stay here as long as you can, as long as you like. Just swimming in the deep and gentle breaths that you're taking, filling up the lungs, not forcing, but gently filling the lungs with air. Relaxing in the body and the face. Enjoying what is. If you're ready to end the practice, you can start to wiggle out the toes, start to wiggle the fingers. Feel the life in your body. Feel the active energy again. Gently draw the feet into the body. Shift to one side of your choosing. You can rest those knees again on a block, or you can just gently turn all the way to fetal position, resting the head on the hands. The knees are bent and stacked. Stay here for a breath or two. You can use that top hand to press the body gently up. Nice and slowly, Check in with your body, check in with your breath, make sure you're not lightheaded or dizzy. You can come to seated on a block or bolster. I'll do the bolster this time, because why not? You can bring the legs out long in Dandasana, or you can fold the legs into a nice easy pose, Sukhasana. Thank you so much for showing up today, for letting me be part of your practice, for taking part in my practice as well. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. We're going to inhale and exhale together into 3 Oms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inhale. Exhale and lower your chin to your palms. Gently start to blink the eyes open. Gently raise the head up. My name is Guianna. I appreciate your presence today. I honor the light in you, the same light that exists in me. If you have any questions or any feedback about the practice, I'm here to listen and answer your questions as best I can. Namaste. Thank you, and take care.